Testing. 3, 2. In this video, we are going to set up our image for submission. First thing I want to do, I want to crop my image. I'm going to show you how to save it in both the PSD and also how to export or save a copy of your image as a PNG file. So we'll go through all these different steps. We're also going to be resizing our PSD file to 900 pixels for file size consideration. We'll also clean up our file. We'll get rid of any files that we don't want to have within our on our finished file, a finished Photoshop document. So what I want to do right here is first I haven't cropped my image yet. I'm going to go to the crop tool. You can press C on your keyboard for crop. And if you need to straighten it, I can straighten it. But I believe it's it's pretty much straight. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna click like this area right here and see very minimal straightening that needs to be done. And now what I want to do, I want to crop my image. Don't feel that you need to maximize your entire image, meaning that I don't need to keep everything. You decide what part you want to keep. So for example, I want to give these light poles, a little bit more space. So let me focus on the other side. Maybe I want to get this a little bit closer. I don't care for that tree. So maybe I want to get it a little bit closer to the building right here. So I definitely want the main part of the broom library, the top, the ceiling right here. Now what about the top and the bottom? I look at the bottom right here. Maybe I'm going to crop this a little bit closer so that it puts the viewer a little bit closer to the chalk drawings here. And then in regards to the top, I do want to make sure that the top of the broom library is there. Let's see, it moved my image. Let's see, this tree that's right there, I might have to chop it off from the top. I don't mind that, or I could just digitally remove it if it really is bothering me. But I want to make sure that I have the top of the ceiling here. So let me zoom out. I'm going to use Command or Control 0 to see what I have right here. And remember, you could really change it if you want to. Oh, it's moving my entire image. I didn't want that. Command Z, Command Z. One more time. Oh, it's moving back and forth. Well, here. That's okay. I could just even crop it down a little bit closer if I want to just focus on the chalk drawings. I could do that. I don't need to have that area over here. It really is up to you. You are in control. You get to decide. But I really like the railing. I like the light post. So I'm going to move this as such. And then this is an operation that you need to apply or cancel. So I'm going to just move that right there. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this. So it's cropping my image. I do have the don't delete crop, don't crop pixels. So I could always change it after the fact. But I have this, but what I want to do, this isn't saved in the file format that I want. I want your last name, first name, project1. So I could either rename this one, but I'm just going to go to File. I'm going to tell it to rename or file save as. I'm going to tell it to save on my computer, but you do have the option to save onto the cloud. Save on my computer. I'm going to select a location, last name Figueroa underscore Aldo, and then this is project 1. And this is going to be the Photoshop format. I'm going to tell it save. I'm going to maximize compatibility. If you want to, you can tell it don't show again. I leave this here for my students because they might see it for the first time. I tell it OK. And this file has now been saved. What I want to do at this point, before we start cleaning it up, I want to save out a PNG version of this file. Whatever layers you have selected, turned on, those layers will be saved out. Everything's going to be kind of flattened down to one image, into one layer, and that information will be saved out. Now, this is where you decide which of these different adjustment layers you want to use. For your final project, I highly suggest that you use adjustment layers. You don't have to turn them all on, but only use the ones that you want. That's going to help with your image. So say for example, I definitely want these curves. I like this dodge and burn that I did with my image. Now, do I want to leave my image? I kind of like this, but I also like the black and white. So do I want it this way? If you have time, you might be able to ask a classmate. You could always create the different variations. But maybe for this sample, let's see, I like this. Even though this looks cool, I like this better. So I'm going to save it this way. So now that I have this here, I'm going to go ahead and go to File. I'm going to tell it again to save as. I'm going to save on my computer. And format, I'm going to change this from Photoshop. I'm going to look for PNG. I want you to save a PNG because this is a higher quality image format compared to JPEG. And it's going to, it stores more of your data. So I want to go ahead and tell it to save. There's going to be an option that's going to come up over here. And what I want to do is for my format, this was more of an issue with older computers. So I'm going to tell it to, uh, let's see, the smallest file size. This means it's going to process your image a little bit more. So it takes longer to save. If you're in a hurry, you could just tell it, give me the larger file size. Uh, but I'm going to tell it smallest file size. It's slower to save because it's doing more work. But you know what? I could just leave it to large file size. It gives me more data. It doesn't compress it as much. I'm going to tell it OK. And now on my computer, I have my file, which is Figueroa Aldo PNG. And you can see this is an 18 megabyte file. Now, I want you to have this file because we're going to be submitting this file within a shared directory that I'm going to create so that your fellow classmates could see your work on their computer. So that's going to be important. The PSD file is something that you're going to submit to me. But you can see that this PSD file, it's still rather large in file size. So I want to kind of reduce some of this down. So going back to Photoshop, what I want to do here, we still have our PSD file that's open. So at this point, we could get rid of stuff that we no longer need. I'm going to get rid of some layers. Like say, for example, within my pixel adjustments, all of these pixel adjustments layers that I have here, I don't need, so I could just say goodbye to all of these. Now, if you want to keep everything, again, this is only for submission. So this file, I actually have a copy of my file saved out as a different version, which was this optimized PSD. And you can see it's the same information. That's why we went to the file save as to save it as a different one. We're optimizing the file that you're going to be submitting to me. So if that doesn't matter to you, and it's like, okay, I'm fine. You could go ahead and just use that one file. So I'm going to get rid of this entire folder. I'm going to go ahead and delete the group and contents. I don't need a separate folder for my edits right here. So my edits too, because everything is now within this dodge and burn. So I could potentially get rid of this one. And actually all of these files right here, what I'm doing, I'm holding down on a Mac command, on a PC it will be control. Getting rid of these right here, selecting them and just click delete. This gives you a window. Do you want to delete the layers? I didn't drag them, I just clicked on them, sorry. You tell it don't show again. I'm going to leave it that for right now. I'm going to tell it yes. And then if you want to reduce these down as well. Now I do want your source images so I could see the images that you use to create your panorama. Let's see. I'm not using the level, so I'm going to get rid of that one. And if I just want to keep the layers that I used right here, we could do this. I'm going to get rid of all of the layers that I did not use, and these are just the information that I have. If I hide uh, my dodge and burn layer, it shows me my original source image. This is where we started from, and we made these changes, and we added adjustments, and then changed the color balance. So there's a lot of steps that we did. I'm going to press Command or Control S to save the file, but now resize. Under Image, I'm going to go to Image Size. Very important that we want to make sure that this says pixels and not inches or anything else. Uh, in the smaller of these two values, in this case being the height, I want to change this to 900. This is only for file submission considerations. We still have a PNG file that is high resolution. I'm going to go ahead and tell this OK. It's going to take a moment to reduce it down. And I'm going to press Command or Control 0 to zoom in. I'm going to press Command S one more time to save it. This file is now optimized for submission. Let's go back to my file Finder window, sorry. And you can see that my PNG, it's still 18 megabytes. It's a high resolution. My PSD file now is only 43 megabytes. I reduced it down. And so this will still be enough for me to be able to look at your image, and you're going to be talking about your image as well. So these images are now ready for submission. You're also going to be submitting a write-up that I'll have a different page that has some more information about that. But these are the things that you have to do for your first project, for your panorama project. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have fun and go explore and create something new. I'll see you later.